Hey there, YouTube. Long time no see. It's your boy Zach. It's Everything Animated. I'm finally going to do my requested review that I've been wanting to do for a while, or been needing to do. This is Bakugan. Bakugan, in a nutshell, is a Japanese Canadian action adventure. The story pretty much centers around these creatures called Bakugan and the battle brawlers that own them. So it's almost kind of like Pokemon, but they're not Pokemon. And then there's cards thrown in there, but it's not Yu-Gi-Oh! So it almost kind of blends both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's not nearly as cool as either of them. This show was first a failure in Japan. They hated it. The series, however, became popular in the United States and in Canada. And that set up more seasons, more spin-offs, more sequels, and became the show that it was. Unfortunately, this show is not around anymore. It started back in 2007 and it ended in 2013, so it was around for a good 6 years before it just tanked and didn't get the love or appreciation that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Did. Before I get started, this is not really so much like a whole review of the show. It's more of a first impression type thing because there's no way I could watch this show and watch the hundreds of episodes that it was. So I watched at least the first three, and here's my general impression of the show. The show is pretty much just like every other kind of kid anime show that you'd expect. The characters are, what can I say? They're average. They're what you. They're pretty. The very first time you see them, you know exactly what their character traits are. The nerd, the headstrong main character, the gotta, I'm the underdog, oh, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. When it came to this show, as far as how Bakugan works, it didn't really explain it that well. With shows like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know what's happening in the first episode because they at least explain how it works. This episode, I was more along scratching my head thinking to myself, what? That being said, it doesn't really get you hooked in from the first episode. And then the following three episodes, it was more or less just the same thing. Maybe adding new characters, new creatures, and all that. And it's just, it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't anything exciting to me. I mean, I can't even give this thing credit for basically being anything different because it's not really anything different. It's Pokemon and it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just maybe a little bit different because, I don't know, the Bakugan are like little balls and then they form into like robots and then they grow into giant beasts. And then the cards are like playing fields. And for some reason, when people are playing each other, time literally stops and they're playing a game and everyone else around them is like a time stoppage for some reason. The very first episode, cards start falling from the sky, and then these things happen. They're like, "Oh, it's a fun game." I guess they just didn't put two and two together that strange cards that fall from the sky can equal bad things, perhaps. Oh, we got these wonderful cards from the sky. Fuck it. Let's play games. It's nothing really too much to say about this show other than if you've seen Beyblade, I don't know, just all them other shows that you would see on Cartoon Network or the CW and all that, then you pretty much know how this show is and how it works. It's nothing special. It's nothing that's just going to blow your mind or anything. I mean, that pretty much tells you how well it did in Japan. They didn't even like it. So would I recommend this? If you're a fan of the kids shows, I'd say watch it. If you want at least something a little new, but something that's familiar at the same time. I'm not really a fan of card games. I love Pokemon because of nostalgia and because of what it means to me and what it meant to me growing up. Yu-Gi-Oh! I never got into, but I can respect the fact that it has remained a show this long and still does what it does. Bakugan, I mean, listen to the characters. They can't even say the fucking name of the show right.
The Bakugan Battle Brawler! Or Bakugan right after these. Bakugan! It's Bakugan Brawler! Now back to Bakugan!
I mean, come on, people. But all in all, if I was to rate this show, I'd rate it a... Well, I guess I can't give it a full rating because I didn't watch the whole thing. So I will at least say skip it. That's my overall first impression of it, is skip it. It's not worth your time. And that was my review, or my first impression of Bakugan. On the next video, I will be doing one of a yaoi. And if you don't know what a yaoi is, that's literally boys love, aka a gay homosexual anime, as requested by Adelmira Chan. I'm gonna have to toughen up and watch that. I don't know how long it is, and that's not a pun. Damn it. I hope it's not too long. Again, with you know what I mean. So the next show I'll be watching, if I can pronounce this, Junjo Romantica. So expect that on the next review. Thank you everyone for staying with me throughout all these years. We're doing good, and I much appreciate your support. Thanks again for stopping by. Everything Animated.